myself, I don't know everybody.
Right. We are going to call this September 7th Indianola City Council meeting to order. If you'll please stand and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jackie, if you'll call the roll, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Here.
Parker,
Present.
Kling, Schroeder, Southall,
Here.
Marchant,
Present.
Mayor Pepper.
Present. Thank you. First item on our agenda is one of my favorite things, is giving the oath of office. So, Trent Nixon, if you'll join me up front here, we'll swear you in. All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Trent Nixon,
I, Trayton Nixon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially,
and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
of police officer
of police officer
of the City of Indianola, Iowa,
of the City of Indianola, Iowa,
as now and hereafter
as now and hereafter
required by law.
required by law.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. That's true. Yes, come on up, sure. And the other officers can come too. Everybody wants to be the next one.
You get clear.
Right.
Do you want me to move the chair?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just family first?
You want me? No?
This family records it, not his work
There we
family.
go.
I'm good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
You too. You too.
How's your boy? Stay out of trouble. Think so?
I don't know. You might know more.
Perfect.
I think he's like. doing all right. Oh.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You betcha. Thank you. guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love to start our night that way.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. Stay safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Anybody here wishing to comment on anything that's not on our agenda? If it's on our agenda, we'll talk about it at that time. If so, please come forward. Seeing none, hearing none, we're gonna move ahead then. First item is consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item B, please.
Okay. Okay, we'll pull item B, which is approval of claims. Anything else need to get pulled?
Ooh, are we gonna have an issue with that? Still only have two people looking.
Yeah. Oh, well. Can we?
Gwen's
motion
on,
to-
no, Gwen's joined. She's on
Now,
Zoom.
Oh, she's
Yep,
on.
perfect,
yep.
Okay.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
excluding B.
Excluding B.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Oh,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. Wonderful. Now we need a motion to approve the claims
Motion to approve.
Second.
and a second. Okay? Jackie, please?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Abstain.
Parker,
Abstain.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. Good deal.
Quick question, can that just be where you can pull one bill, so I can just pull my bill, that way I can vote on the others and not, I mean, is that a concern? I mean, if we ran into a situation where we only had 4 people in the room and 2 of us had to abstain, then people wouldn't get paid for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, we probably could.
Okay, if
If
we ran into that
we
situation.
ran into that situation, it's
Okay.
better to pull the whole thing if you can, but if
Okay.
we needed to, yeah, we probably. look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of-
All right,
Good to know.
good to know. All
Yes,
right,
good to know. Good
perfect. Yeah.
question. Ryan, do you want to give us a couple highlights of what was on the consent agenda tonight?
Oh, sure. You set a public hearing for sign exemption. And that's for the sign outside of City Hall, our electronic message boards getting replaced as part of the budget. So that has to go through that process. The public library's trunk or treat is going to be held on October 30th. Log Cabin Day Parade, this is going to be a really busy weekend on the weekend of the 25th. So you approved the Log Cabin Day Parade, the high school homecoming parade. We've been working with the high school on that. We're going to be getting visual out to the community now that that's been approved. But that same weekend it's Simpson versus Central at Simpson, homecoming, the Knot Fest over at the Balloon Field. So it's going to be very happening time.
Lots
in our
of fun
community.
stuff to look
Wow,
forward
weekend.
to.
Yes. Good notice. Thank you.
And then you, third reading of an ordinance, we approved you approved the list of applicants for the police officer position. We had to go through that civil service process we had a couple officers leave to other departments, so we've got, this will get us back to fully staffed. And then we did have somebody have an excess usage claim on their sewer bill. It was above the threshold for staff to approve. We were able to prove that the water that they had used did not go down the sewer system. So those are some of the highlights.
And we did put a note in there for the trunk or treat that there's no more noisemakers or anything, otherwise we're gonna cancel the event. 'cause
No, that
wastewater
was-
treatment plant, where these guys have got to get that stuff taken care of.
Do they have serious noisemakers?
Oh, it was annoying as can be, and they
And
just
then they
laughed.
What kind of
They won.
noisemakers?
They won too. Oh, it was great for the kids, but it was,
We felt it was rigged.
yeah, we did, yeah,
And we would like to forget more favor.
right.
It's a great time. I know the library is
It is
really
fun.
excited about.
It's a great time. It's just kind of a running joke with those guys. So it's a great event, so.
Let's just backtrack a little bit about the Civil Service Commission, just so you know, when we have an officer position.
That's police and fire.
And fire, yep, that first round has to go out, all those names are run through the Civil Service Commission first, and then they are interviewed, is that how it works? They have to be approved by Civil Service first and then are interviewed, or you interview and then run the finalist names by Civil Service?
We interview, we give our candidates to the civil service, and they are the ultimate authority. They certify the list of who they feel should be on the list. So we sent 6 candidates this time, civil service, and they certified a list of 5.
Got it, perfect, I just want people to understand that because of both of those, that's just a difference in how we hire.
They're not the state law, right? I mean, we're mandated as a
Correct.
state law for
Yeah,
that.
this is not something special, absolutely. All right, thank you for that clarification. Council reports, we need to receive and file the EMS billing activity report for July 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin.
Aye.
Motion carries. Wonderful. Thank you. Next up is mayor's report. Got a couple of things to just run by you, make sure you're aware of. First is Friday. The Public Arts Commission, one of our newest commissions, is going to do their first unveiling of a piano. It's going to be positioned, it's a public piano. You can play it anytime, Friday, 3:30. Please join us if you can for that unveiling. Very exciting. I work in Des Moines and they've had some pianos out, and I've come out many a day where someone's just out there playing beautiful music. It's really very nice.
And were they unveiling it
It's right outside of Page Turners where the piano is going to sit, by 88 cent store, Page Turners, that area. Okay. Other things, we got a new fire truck. Yes, chief? It arrived?
at? No,
It did not arrive. What?
tomorrow morning.
Okay, it's coming.
I waited up for it.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the 3 hours out comment.
Yeah.
This is planned and budgeted for, but it is now coming to complete our fleet, correct?
Yes,
And way ahead of time, correct?
yeah, the last one was 18 months, this one was 9 months.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is your bigger truck, so, yeah.
okay, good. Well, we can't wait to see it.
We weren't expecting it till next year, correct? Really, I mean, in our mind,
I was, yeah, my expectation for next June,
yeah.
Okay, so we'll take it
yes.
tomorrow. It's fine. Good. All right, Saturday, 9/11, of course, 20th anniversary. There is a remembrance ceremony at the Indianola Y at 8:30. If you'd like to join us for that, please do. I have a visual aid with this. This is our city wastewater treatment plant staff were highlighted in municipal sewer and water. They are on the cover, people. This is very exciting for the good work that they are doing. So a little shout out to our friends over in our facility. Great work. We appreciate it. Today, the state appeal board unanimously ruled in the city's favor on the use of lost funds for streetscape. We got that earlier today. And then just a couple of things I wanted to highlight to make sure people understand or have some questions. The skate park, our staff has been working diligently on this from the very beginning. We changed, if you had been paying attention recently, we changed our policies on art at the skate park, allowing the kids to be able to do some of that, but unfortunately, a few of them went too far and vandalized the skate park, so it's been closed. We've got to get it cleaned up, and we will continue to work with others. Brian, do you want to tell us who we're working with? Any other highlights of that?
Yeah, since the start of it, Doug and his staff have been involved with in conversations with the high school art club, as an example. They had a meeting that's set up for this week, talk about creative ways that they can highlight it. There's other groups that they've talked about engaging with. Mayor's Youth Council is one of those groups, but really working with the high school has been the big one. But Mayor, as you mentioned, the policy came as a recommendation from the Parks and Rec Commission. As you all know, graffiti at the skate park and around town has been a thing that we've been combating for quite some time. And the staff in the Parks and Rec Commission looked at other examples of skate parks where graffiti has been used and incorporated into a public art campaign. And that's something that we've heard from the assessment we did with the state back in 2018, the need for public art. The council's recently reestablished the Indianola Public Art Committee. So that has been a big thing that has been pushed throughout the region. And so this policy that was approved upon the recommendation of the Parks and Rec Commission last month was meant for that. And in the updates that Doug has shared with you all, we've had a number of youths that have highlighted their artistic talents in a positive way. And Mayor, as you mentioned, unfortunately, we had a few that have taken it too far. Our police had made contact with at least one of them, who've spoken with the parents on that. And our staff has been on it. We monitor all our parks. Just this morning, Doug shared an example of graffiti in one of the bathrooms at another park. So unfortunately it happens, but as you mentioned, our staff is on it. Our staff checks out the parks on a daily basis. And they work to remove these types of things in a quick manner. Unfortunately, sometimes the paint that they use is of a type of paint that requires a lot more different types of techniques. So while it may appear that they've been inactive, they have been trying different things over the last couple of weeks. So
Thank you. Thanks to our Park and Rec staff, because they have been working on this for quite some time. And of course, we're all in favor of public art, but not when it becomes vandalism. So please, 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 if you have children out there that are using the skate park, please talk to them about this. Public art in a positive way is very good, but of course, not to vandalize. There's also been some information I've been seeing out there floating that's just misinformation, quite honestly, about the wastewater water resource recovery facility. Yes. And the streetscape costs have been double. Is that true, Ryan?
that's not accurate.
What are the costs? What has
Um,
happened here?
So I think what's happening is folks are confusing the original estimates and what actually happened. So we've shared this during the presentation with the water resource recovery facility as well as with the streetscape. So what happens is when you have a project that starts at the very beginning, the engineers will come in and say, this is what we estimate it will cost. And then you go through the process, you have 30% of design, 60% of design, 90% of design. And every time you go through those phases, you get more and more granular. So you might just say, hey, we need a wastewater treatment plant. Well, that's going to cost about 25 million. But then you have to get into all the details of the plant. What does it look like? How many buildings are there? What kind of material is it? What is the state? You're going through a review process with the state. They're giving you feedback. Same thing with the streetscape. We go through reviews with the state for some of the funding that we got to make sure that the calculations were right, the type of material was correct. So every step along that way, you're getting more and more details, which is providing a greater clarity on what the price is going to be. Many of you on the council, as we've gone through those processes, will come. Many of you remember Jim Rasmussen coming in and saying, our updated probable cost of construction is this. That's because we've gone through the process and put more clarity and more design specificity around those designs. So we have a better idea of what that cost should be. But until we actually bid it out, that's the time where we actually know what the firm cost is. So people will say that it's over budget. That's not an accurate statement. What is accurate is we've got estimates. We go through the process. We start with an engineer's estimate, and that estimate gets refined every step along the way because we have more details to add to it. Now, in the case of the wastewater treatment plant and the streetscape, in both cases, our engineers and staff provided reasons that were driving those costs beyond what we had hoped them to be. And with the wastewater treatment plant, we talked about at that particular time, the economy, this was pre-pandemic, the economy was humming along, unemployment was extremely low. What we were hearing from contractors was they weren't able to find adequate workforce to do any of this. With the wastewater treatment plant project, we also knew that there were some trade wars happening internationally that were impacted some pricing to the tune of $200,000. We also had another project, another large wastewater treatment plant being bid out at the same exact time. And we talked to this board and asked if we can postpone that, and we moved that bid date. The wastewater treatment plant that was bid out along with ours the week before, or whatever time it was before, they were 32% above engineer's estimate. We were 18% above. We don't want to be over, but unfortunately, there are things in the market that are beyond our control. We can't control trade wars with China. We can't control steel costs. We cannot control the unemployment and what kind of employees these firms are able to get. Certainly in April, when we came back and we talked about kind of the pricing for the streetscape, the tightness of the square was an example. The availability of supplies. If Suez Canal was blocked at that time, there's the supply chain is still impacted. And I think I heard on the radio I don't think I did hear on the radio this morning that they're projecting that the supply chain issues are still going to exist until 2023. And when we talk to the plan holders, some of them, I think it was Chad that said, when they talked to some of these potential bidders who paid to get the plans to bid on the project, they couldn't find pipe. They had a narrow window to lock in a price, and that was a risk that they were going to take, and they didn't know. There was also a lot of other projects out there putting in farmers fields. So a lot of these other companies are going out and putting roads and sewers in fields where they don't have to contend with, buildings right up on top of the work site. So there's a number of factors. Unfortunately, those factors don't always resonate with folks as they're talking about these topics. We've certainly had those conversations with you all and provide that information so you can make your informed decision.
Thank you. And maybe the other question is, have these two projects, wastewater treatment plant and streetscape, increased our taxes?
The answer is no. We shared this in the weekly email a couple weeks ago. Indianola has one of the lowest consolidated tax rates. I think it's the third lowest in the metro. I think it's 132 in the state. And the debt service levy, so anything for the general fund, so roads, that debt service levy is incorporated into the city's overall property tax rate. We've made it a point to have the conversations as part of the budget process with Mike Maloney from DA Davidson, who's our financial advisor, who Andy works with on a regular basis, to put those financial performance models together. So if you recall, about 2 years ago, we were presenting information to the council that was sitting at that time that talked about what the property tax levy would be given the projects that we have going we're starting to work on now. And we've been fortunate because of the good financial planning on the part of Andy, the guidance from the council, the work that Mike Maloney at DA Davidson has done, and the economic growth. We haven't had to raise the property taxes to pay for any of the major projects that we've had to do. We have one of the lowest debt levies in the metro. Most of the communities like Norwalk and Carlisle, they're in the $4 range. We're below $2.
And we've taken care of a lot of projects that had been the maintenance had been kicked down the road year after year after year after year. And we're still not done because we still have never done anything about public safety facilities or updating City Hall and staff positions. I mean, we're so far behind on a lot of this stuff. If you go around the Des Moines Metro, almost all the communities around there have at least built one, if not two city halls. And we still are sitting in a building that was built originally built in the 1930s and been added on a couple of times. And we don't have enough space as is. So unfortunately, while it may look like we have a lot of debt, we're taking care of projects that have not been done for years. And that's, so we're trying to catch up, and we're doing that as well as Ryan just mentioned. We haven't raised property taxes to do that. So.
Well, and the important thing to note is that we have a legal debt limit, and we are well below that. And Moody's talked about that. Our financial advisor talked about that. And one of the things that's really important is, and part of the reason why we've been able to be so successful is because of the economic development that we've had. You look at the industrial park, the commercial growth. Charlie just sent this to me earlier today. When you look at our permits, the permits that have been issued so far, the value of the permits issued to date is worth $28.5 million in valuation. So for comparison, in all of 2020, the city issued permits worth more than 25.1. So we're already exceeding that. And one of the data points that I've shared with the council and that we shared with Moody's and was very impressive with Moody's, the credit rating agency, is that over the last 5 years, we added over $186 million of taxable valuation, total valuation for our community, $186 million in total valuation. Mike Maloney has presented to you and talked about how phenomenal of a stat that is for this community. And That's just over the last 5 years. So when you look at the 5-year period prior to that, the total was only 56 million. So this last 5-year period, we've added $186 million of total valuation. In the 5-year period prior to that, 56 million. So our economic development efforts have worked. We're adding taxable valuation, which is only benefiting the entire community because now this added growth is picking up the cost and we're able to do things like add firefighters without having to raise property taxes. We're able to accomplish more in these projects.
Thank you. Thank you for helping clarify some misinformation that's floating out there. All right, we'll move on to a proclamation declaring September as Library Card Sign-Up Month. Cheers to our library staff. Whereas the Indianola Public Library connects residents to information and to each other in order to foster learning, discovery, growth, and meaningful experiences and relationships. And whereas a library card can give you access to free books and media, adventure passes, book boxes, puzzles and games, and more. And whereas our local library has over 10,000 active users that have access to more than 159,000 items. And whereas Indianola's librarians handpick books for library users with curbside and homebound delivery services. And whereas our public library also offers programs and events for citizens of all ages, meeting spaces, computer access, and a space to enjoy a good book. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pepper, do hereby proclaim September as Library Card Sign-Up Month throughout the city of Indianola, encourage all citizens to join our biggest treasure, the public library. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Indianola, Iowa on the 7th day of September 2021. Cheers to our library staff. All right, moving on, old business. Third consideration of a proposed ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Indianola, Iowa by adding provisions pertaining to a new chapter on human relations commissions.
Move to approve. Second.
Questions, comments? Jackie, call the roll.
Councilmember Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye.
Motion carries. I just want to say welcome to our newest commission, Human Relations. We're very excited. I want to do a quick shout out to some people that are here tonight and others that have been working with us. With us tonight is Carolyn Dollinger and Nick Malstat, Walter Lane, Seth Anderson, Detavia Smith, Tara Elcock, George Love, Keisha Barnes, Maeve Cullen, Greta Southall, she's here tonight too, have all been very helpful in the instigation of this, and we appreciate all their great work, and we're very excited about this new commission. So we will now move towards getting that commission filled with active members, and we will continue to move forward. With the second thing that's coming up here is resolution approving an agreement with the Iowa Civil Rights Commission.
Move to approve.
Second. That group will help us, will help the Human Relations Commission. If anything is brought forward, they will handle those for us. So it's good to have that partnership. Questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We have a resolution approving and authorizing a form of loan and disbursement agreement by and between the city of Indianola, Iowa and the Iowa Finance Authority, and authorizing and providing for the issuance and securing the payment of $16,345,000 taxable general obligation capital loan notes, series 2021, and providing for a method of payment of said notes.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, Andy.
I don't know if anybody has any questions on this. This is the third bond note, our loan with the Iowa Finance Authority through the state revolving fund to be paid with revenue from the local option sales tax. If you note the payment schedule, no greater than $1 million a year. We budgeted for, just for FY22, we budgeted $1.5 million for our local option sales tax. We just received notification from the Department of Revenue that we should be receiving $2 million in total revenue for the city and local option sales tax. This is before the census figures are being placed into the formula that determines the local option sales tax distribution. So that number may still go up just a little bit, but we'll have to see what that is here later in the month. Any questions?
Great, thanks.
Jackie, please.
Councilmember Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Then there's a resolution appointing BOKF-NA of Lincoln, Nebraska to serve as paying agent, NTE registrar, and transfer agent, approving the paying agent and note registrar and transfer agent agreement and authorizing the execution of the agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mayor, members of the council, the next two resolutions have to do with the bond series for general obligation bond series 2021. This is for improvements on Hillcrest Avenue and K Street. The first one authorizes Bank of Oklahoma Financial as the paying agent for the city. And you know what that entails is that they will take automatic withdrawals from the city's checking account to make those debt service payments. There's an interest payment in due December 1st, and then an interest and principal payment due June 1st. And they'll automatically withdraw that and make the payments to make sure that the city meets its debt obligation. And then the second resolution is mainly the final paperwork for the bond series, including a tax certificate. As you know, municipal bonds are tax exempt, so that certificate certifies that these are tax exempt bonds. Any questions you might have?
Thank you, Andy. Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Then a resolution approving and authorizing a form of loan agreement and authorizing and providing for the issuance of $6,840,000 general obligation capital loan notes series 2021 and amending the levy of taxes to pay said notes, approval of the tax exemption certificate and continuing disclosure certificate.
Move as read.
Second.
Okay, question? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. Just as a reminder, Hillcrest and K Street will start when?
We're doing engineering work now. It will be bid out next fiscal year for construction.
Next spring bidding
Next
and
fis-
then next
yeah.
summer we would be under construction.
I don't want to give out specific seasons, but it will be, construction will start sometime next fiscal year.
Perfect.
Probably closer to the spring or summer, but
Thank you. Just a reminder. Next item is 1500 West Third Avenue. We need to have a public hearing to determine if a nuisance exists at 1500 West Third Avenue.
Motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
Okay, Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now in a public hearing. Charlie's here. I think you have a few things to tell us.
Mayor, members of council, Charlie DeSalle, Community and Economic Development Director. On July 19th, our department did receive a complaint about the property at 1500 West Third regarding tall grass and weeds. City code section pertaining to this says that grass, weeds, or brush shall be cut, mowed, and maintained to not exceed 8 inches in developed areas. Got a few pictures I'm going to show you here. This first set right here was taken on August 16th, where you can see along Highway 92. This is in the rear of the property. So this property has frontage on Third and then rears on Highway 92, but you can see the weeds there exceeding 8 inches in height. However, did take another picture on August 30th. So this was just last Monday, I believe, that shows the property owner has now mowed that area. So with that, our recommendation would be to show that a nuisance does no longer exist because the property owner has taken care of that. And the 3 options that council does have are in the memo. And if there's any additional questions of me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions for Charlie?
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak on behalf of this? No, come forward. Ready to go out?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second. Okay, Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye. I'll make a motion to.
Motion carries. Now go ahead.
Sorry, I'll make a motion to, for option 2, the city council of Indianola, Iowa finds that a nuisance does not exist at 1500 West Third Avenue.
Second. Okay, questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Next is 1308 South G Street. We need to go into a public hearing regarding a request from TEA MC LLC to rezone property located at 1308 South G Street from A1 Agricultural Open Space Zoning District to R1 Single Family Residential Detached Zoning District.
Motion to go into public hearing. Second.
Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now in a public hearing. Charlie?
Yeah, Mayor, members of council, again, Charlie DeSalle, Community and Economic Development Director. Property is located at 1308 South G Street. You can see on the screen here, that is on the south end of G Street, or South G Street, just south of West 12th Avenue. I'm gonna go to the next slide here because this one I think does a little bit better job of showing exactly what is proposed here. So currently, this parcel in total is 9 acres inside and located in the A1 zoning district. The A1 zoning district says you have to have a minimum of 15 acres to be buildable for a single family dwelling. The owner does propose to split off the existing house right here on 1/2 acre and then also split off another parcel on the south side there on 1/2 acre. The existing house would remain, all indications that we've gotten, and then the new lot 2 down here would become a buildable parcel. So because of that, we cannot approve a subdivision until the zoning is in place that would allow for that subdivision to take place. So because of that, they are asking for a rezoning to the R1 zoning district to make that buildable for single family dwellings. Did want to note when you look at the zoning, the surrounding zoning there, and I don't have a map of there, but a lot of the surrounding zoning around this parcel is A1 zoning district currently. A lot of people might think, okay, well, if we're just rezoning this one parcel in the middle of an A1 zoning district, that's spot zoning. Just want to make sure the council's well aware that the underlying comp plan does show that this area is low density residential. And when you're looking at an underlying comp plan, even though on a zoning map, it could look like there's just a spot of zoning here that shows as residential, as long as the comp plan underneath that is showing that as future residential development, it is not considered spot zoning. So just want to put that on the record and make sure everybody's aware of that. But if there's any questions on this request, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that clarification. Questions for Charlie?
The only thing that would have been, all that would have been agricultural for ever,
Yep.
correct?
Yep, and that house has been there. I had to go back and look at it exactly, but I want to say it was the 1930s, so the house would have been built before zoning was ever even placed in the city. So that's why that house currently sits on something less than 15 acres.
I guess I wouldn't consider, from what seminars I've been at and stuff, that would not ever consider that to be spot zoning.
Mhm.
Considering that, like you mentioned, that the comp plan does show that, but it's also a place for residential growth as we,
Yep.
as we continue to grow the community.
Exactly, and the city has extended sewer down there, I think, with some of that mentality as well. So, and just to point out one thing, I guess I should have mentioned, we did, when we were working with this isn't an official subdivision plat, that should come at a later date, but we did make sure that we had enough room in between these two lots where if there was ever a road put through there to open up the rest of the parcel for development, again, that there is space to put a road through there, so that was something we were conscious of with this one.
Good clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here wishing to speak on 1308 South G? Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we need a motion for first consideration of an ordinance approving the rezoning of property located at 1308 South G Street from A1 to R1.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, on to new business then. First consideration of an ordinance amending the city code of the city of Indianola, Iowa, amending regulations for all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles and creating regulations for golf carts.
I'd like to make a motion to move this item to September 20th council meeting. Yes, just move it,
To continue to a date certain.
continue to a date certain. That's it.
Okay,
Reason being, I want to do a little bit more research on the entire ordinance, the way it looks at ATVs, snowmobiles, golf carts, and have a little bit more time to digest what we're seeing and see if there are alternative options that we can talk to people about. That's my reasoning.
other questions, comments?
I would agree. I mean, I just felt like this is one of those that I know, and I know planning and zoning spent time on it, and I appreciate that, and I don't ever want to take away from what those guys do. They do a great job, but I just, yeah, I agree. I didn't have my hand on that one yet, so,
And there's no harm in tabling it.
no.
Okay. Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Okay, we'll table that till our next meeting. Thank you. And then there's a resolution authorizing the purchase of 3 thermal imaging cameras from Sandry Fire Supply in the amount not to exceed $20,892.
Second.
Chief, do you have anything you want to say about that?
He's just looking for an opportunity to say.
Council, mayor. Good evening. It's one of our pieces of equipment that is integral when they make an attack on any structure fire. The current ones that we're using, as I put in the memo, they're outdated and we can't get parts. This is something that is needed, and as we evolved in the fire department, it's as important as us carrying our fire hose in.
That's it. Okay. Comments, questions for Chief?
Huge safety item.
Yes,
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Jackie, please.
Councilmember Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. On to other business, city managers report. Ryan Waller.
Thank you, Mayor. The city has participated in the Central Iowa Code Consortium for previous years. Because of that work, we, along with other metro communities, work together on reviewing updates to like the building code updates. So that was something that Chief Chia and Charlie DeSalle had been involved with. So all the communities from the metro that are participating will go through, will review and analyze. So you're really tapping the resources of other communities and partnering. And so the time has come to re-up and see if the city is interested. There is no cost other than just committing the staff time to work with our partners on reviewing and going through any sort of updates that cross into other jurisdictions like building codes, fire codes, things of that nature.
Do we need a resolution for that?
We do. So consideration of a resolution.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. I was looking at the bottom. I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Okay. questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to share, Ryan? I know we have to receive and file your correspondence, but anything else?
Thank you.
Then we just need to receive and file correspondence from August 13, 20, and 27, 2021 from City Manager Ryan Waller. So moved. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Sorry, Gwen. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is to go into closed session. I'll read it here, but then after that is we are just going to adjourn. That's all we have on our agenda tonight. So I need a motion to enter into closed session in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.5(1)(c) to discuss strategy with legal counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent and where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the government.
Motion to go into closed session. Second.
Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go into closed session here in just a minute, then we will come out and adjourn, and nothing will be decided while we're in closed session. Thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Gwen, we'll give you a call from the phone.
Yes. Okay, thanks.